Today's practice is going to be mainly a standing practice. We will work down to our backs to get ready for our resting pose, but we'll go ahead and just jump right into it now here in our standing position and taking a moment or two here to check in with our posture in our standing pose. Pressing nice and evenly through all four corners of both of our feet. We're going to imagine that we have a string right here at the top of our head, that string is being pulled towards the ceiling here. If you notice, if you kind of allow yourself to imagine that visual, you feel yourself kind of grow just that little bit taller here, staying nice and long through the back of the neck, chin parallel to the floor, and then finding that back heart alignment in our back body through our shoulder blades, drawing those bottom points together as the top parts of the shoulder blades fan out there, bringing our hands to our sides, palms facing forward, and having that nice micro bend in our knees so we're not locking anything out. And we'll just take a moment or two here to check in with our breathing in our standing posture, taking those nice big inhales here and complete exhales, and setting our intention here that we'll do our best to keep taking those nice big full inhales and complete exhales as we move throughout our practice here today. Even when we're holding certain positions, certain postures, making sure we're doing our best to not hold our breath. And then relaxing our arms here a little bit. We'll take a big inhale as we send our fingertips up towards the ceiling, biceps to ears. And as we exhale, hinging at the hips, coming into a forward fold, keeping our back nice and straight for as long as we can, allowing a bend in the knees if needed. Once we can no longer keep that back straight at the bottom, we can round our back over here. On an inhale, we'll come up just halfway, half forward fold, finding that flat back position. Exhale, full forward fold. Inhaling in, bringing ourselves all the way up again through that flat back position here, sending our fingertips up towards the ceiling, maybe finding a little bit of a back bend. And as we exhale, diving forward again. Coming into that nice forward fold, nice flat back, rounding at the bottom. Inhaling in, half forward fold. Exhale, full forward fold. And then inhaling in, we'll bring ourselves back up to standing, taking our time. Again, finding that flat back position, staying nice and long through the back of the neck, nice straight through the back of the neck, coming to standing, and then shaking it out. And then bringing our hands down or up to our waists. We'll shift our weight into our left foot as we kickstand our right foot up against that left ankle. Keeping that right knee forward to begin. As we inhale in, we'll send that right knee off to the right side, opening up through that right hip. Exhale, bringing the right knee back to center. Inhale, opening up. Exhale, bringing knee back to center. Now we'll begin incorporating the arms. Inhale in as we send that right knee off to the right side, sending arms up overhead. Exhale, hands back down to our sides, knee returns to center. Again, inhale and fingertips up towards the ceiling, opening up through that right knee, that right hip. Exhale, returning to center. We'll do that one more time here. Big inhale as we send those fingertips up, right knee off to that right side. And exhale, relaxing everything back to the mat. And repeating that on the other side. So shifting our weight into that right foot, kickstanding that left foot against that right ankle, hands on our waist. Inhaling in, opening up, sending that left knee off to the left side. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling to center. Inhale, we open up. Exhale, center. And again, now incorporating those arms. Inhale as the arms go up, sending that left knee off to the left side. Exhale, hands to the waist, left knee returns to center. Again, inhale in, arms go up, knee opens. Exhale, center. Hands come down to our sides. Do that one more time. Big inhale in as those fingertips go up, sending that left knee off to the side. And then exhale, relaxing, hands returning to our sides, and we'll shake out the legs. And again, coming to our standing posture here, standing pose, pressing through all four corners, evenly through both of our feet. Finding those hip points here at the front of our body and turning those hip points in towards each other, seeing if we go a little bit taller through our back body, and then again finding that string, see if that string can pull us even a little bit taller yet as the crown of our head lifts towards the ceiling, hands returning to our sides, palms facing forward. Again, shifting our weight into our left foot this time. We'll kickstand our right foot up against that left ankle. We're looking for our tree pose here today, and if this is your tree pose, if this is where you feel stable and you'd like to work on your balance and strengthening from here, I invite you to do so, to stay here. It's a wonderful tree pose. There is the option to bring that right foot to our left calf here, and standing here, this is our tree pose, or perhaps we'd like to reach down, grab that foot, and bring it up to our thigh, making sure that we avoid the knee, not pressing into our knee, protecting our joint there. Wherever we're at, holding here in our tree pose, breathing, pressing through all four corners of that foot, finding that micro bend in our standing leg, maybe sending our arms up overhead, maybe coming into Joshua tree arms, whatever feels best. Trying not to twist here as we send this leg out. We might not be able to get that right knee out without finding that twist. So if we can't, if that knee's not quite, what would you call that, all the way towards that front edge of the mat, that's perfectly fine. Breathing here. Wherever we're at, we'll take one more big inhale in and exhale, releasing right foot to mat and shaking it out. And coming back to standing pose here. Bringing our hands to our waist or perhaps to heart center, or leaving them at our sides, and then begin by shifting our weight into that right foot as we kickstand the left foot up against that right ankle, finding that micro bend in our standing leg. Again, deciding if this is where we feel the most comfortable in our tree pose today and staying here, or bringing that left foot up to that right calf. Maybe reaching down, bringing that left foot up to that right thigh, avoiding the knee, and breathing here, maybe playing around with our arms, finding a little bit of balance and stability. Maybe we end up being a little bit of a flowy tree today, blowing in the wind, that's perfectly fine. Trying to keep those hips squared to the front, finding those hip points, turning them in towards each other, nice and tall through the neck here, lifting crown of the head towards the ceiling, breathing. Wherever we're at, we'll take one more big inhale in. And exhale, releasing that left foot to the mat, shaking it out. And then coming to the back of our mat here, working through a few more of our forward folds. Inhaling, fingertips up towards the ceiling, maybe finding a little back bend. Exhale, forward fold, keeping nice and straight through the back of the neck, keeping that back nice and flat, and then rounding once we get to the bottom. Inhaling in as we lift up just halfway. Exhale, full forward fold. And inhaling again as we come all the way up to standing, fingertips up towards the ceiling here, finding that little bit of a back bend, biceps to ears. And as we exhale, stepping forward with our right foot to begin. Planting our left foot, left toes pointed towards that top left corner of the mat. And then we'll find that bend in our right knee here as we send our fingertips up towards the ceiling, biceps to our ears. Finding that little back bend. Exhale, hands return to our sides as we straighten that front knee. Inhale, coming into our warrior one, fingertips towards the ceiling, bending that front knee. Exhale, as we come back to warrior one. Or as we come back to straightening that leg, hands to our sides. Inhale, opening up into warrior one, holding here in our warrior one. Pressing through all four corners of that front foot, pressing through the outside of that left foot here, finding that little back bend. And as we exhale, opening up into our warrior two. Arms out to the T, that back foot now is parallel or in line with that short edge of the mat. Front toes still pointing towards that short front edge of the mat. And again, inhaling in, we'll straighten that front knee as our hands return to our sides. Exhale, bending that front knee, coming into warrior two. Exhale, inhale, straightening the leg, hands return to our sides. Exhale, warrior two. One more time, inhale as we straighten that front knee, bring your hands to our sides. This time as we exhale, sending those arms out to a T, bending that front knee, we'll hold here in our warrior two. Again, imagining that string attached to the ceiling. Imagine that string pulling us up so we can go nice and tall, nice and straight through the back body there. Perhaps sending our gaze just past those right fingertips. And as we come into an inhale, we'll pivot on that back foot, coming back to the front here. Keeping that back heel lifted, biceps up to our ears, fingertips towards the ceiling, and then bringing our chest forward slightly. Imagining we have a nice straight line from the crown of our head to the tip of the heel, I know we can't see ourselves, so we just do our best to feel that straight line in our body. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's okay, just doing our best. And then we'll take a big inhale in, and as we exhale, we'll bring our chest forward as that back heel comes up, coming into our warrior three, making sure we have that micro bend at least in our standing leg. Keeping our hips as square to the mat as we can. That back foot is flexed, toes pointed down towards the mat. And then inhale, releasing that back foot, planting it, and coming into a little bit of a warrior one. And then exhale, relaxing. And then stepping that back foot, front foot to meet the back foot here at the back of our mat. We'll shake it out. And working through that now here on the other side. Big inhale in as we find that little bit of a back bend. And then exhale, let's actually go ahead and forward fold here, coming all the way down into a forward fold, rounding the back at the bottom. Inhale, coming up half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling and coming all the way back up to standing again, sending those fingertips up towards the ceiling, finding that little back bend. And this time on the exhale, stepping forward with our left foot. Planting that right foot in the back, those right toes pointed to the top, right corner, left toes towards that front edge of the mat. Inhaling in as we send our fingertips up towards the ceiling, biceps to ears, finding that back bend, bending that front knee, and exhale, straightening the front knee, hands are turned to our sides. Inhale, coming into our warrior one. Exhale, straightening that front leg, hands are turned to our sides. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, straighten the leg, hands to our sides. This time on that inhale, holding our warrior one here, pressing through the outside of that right foot, pressing through all four corners of that left foot here, nice and strong in our warrior one. And then exhale, as we pivot on that back foot, coming into our warrior two. Pressing through the outside of that right foot now. That right foot is in line with that back edge of the mat. And then inhaling, straightening that front leg. Hands are turned to our sides. Exhale, coming into warrior two. Inhale, hands are turned to our sides. Straightening that front leg. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale again as we straighten that right leg. Hands are turned to our sides. And exhaling into our warrior two, and we'll hold here, finding that string from the crown of our head towards the ceiling, growing nice and tall here, sending our gaze just past those left fingertips, breathing here. Big inhales, complete exhales. Then on an inhale again, pivoting that back foot towards, the back toes towards the front, preparing for our warrior three here, so finding that straight line from the crown of our head to that back heel. And as we exhale, lifting up into our warrior three, hips square to the mat, toes towards the ceiling. Toes towards the mat. And then inhale as we release that back foot, finding a little bit of a back bend. And then exhale, hands to our sides. And stepping that back foot again to meet the front foot. Working through a forward fold sequence here. Inhale and finding that little back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, full forward fold. Inhale, coming all the way up to standing, and we'll just keep our hands at our sides this time and shaking it out here. We're going to move through those warriors again now, making a little bit of a warrior flow. So here we go. Inhaling, fingertips up towards the ceiling, biceps to ears. And as we exhale, stepping forward with our right foot, coming into warrior one. Well, we'll come into warrior one on an inhale, setting those fingertips towards the ceiling, a little bit of that back bend here. Exhale as we open up into warrior two. Inhale as we come back to the front. Exhale as we lift up into our warrior three. Inhale, returning that back foot as we come into a little bit of a warrior one. Exhale, straightening that front leg, hands to our sides. Inhale and opening up, coming into our warrior one. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale to the front. Exhale, warrior three. Inhale, planting that back foot, Coming into our warrior one. Exhale, hands are turned to our sides, straightening that front leg. Moving through that again, this time with a little bit of a hold in each of our warriors. Inhale in as we send those fingertips up, bending that front knee, coming into our warrior one here. Pressing through the outside of that left foot, pressing through all four corners of our right foot. Breathing here. Nice big inhales. Complete exhales. One more big inhale in. And exhale as we open up into our warrior two. So bringing those arms out to that T. Back foot now in line with the short edge of the mat. Finding that string towards the ceiling, crown of our head lifting up. Noticing if we grow a little bit taller here. Pressing through all four corners of that right foot as we send our gaze just past those left fingertips. Breathing here, nice big inhales. Complete exhales. As we inhale in, pivoting back towards the front here, bringing our chest forward so we have nice alignment from the crown of our head to that back heel. And as we exhale, lifting up into our warrior three here. Now, if we feel the most comfortable with those back toes planted, that's perfectly fine. Anywhere from here to having our body parallel to the floor is fine. If our arms get tired here up overhead, we can always offer them onto our waist. And doing our best to keep those hips squared towards the mat, toes flex towards the mat as well, wherever we're at, taking those big inhales. Complete exhales, that nice micro bend in that standing leg. And on our next inhale, releasing that back foot and coming into our warrior one. And exhale, relaxing, straightening that front leg. Hands are turning to our sides. And then stepping front foot to meet the back and shaking it out here, returning to the back of our mat. And moving through that forward fold sequence again. Inhaling in, fingertips towards the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming up half forward fold. Exhale, fold. And inhaling in, we'll come all the way up, taking our time, keeping our hands at our sides though. We'll stand up and shaking it out again. And now moving through that flow on our other side. Big inhale in, sending those fingertips towards the ceiling, biceps to ears. And as we exhale, stepping forward with our left foot, coming in to our warrior one leg, finding that bend in that front knee there. Inhale in as we send those fingertips up towards the ceiling, biceps to ears, a little back bend. Exhale, opening up into warrior two. Inhale as we come back to the center. Exhale, lifting up into our warrior three. Inhale as we come back to warrior one. Exhale, straightening that front leg, hands are turned to our sides. Inhale and bending that front knee, fingertips towards the ceiling, little back bend. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale towards the front. Exhale, lifting up into warrior three. Inhale, planting that back foot as we come into our warrior one. Exhale, relaxing. Again, moving through that with those little pauses in each of our warriors now. Inhale in, fingertips up towards the ceiling, biceps to ears, finding that slight back bend here. Breathing, pressing through the outside of that right foot, pressing through all four corners of our left foot. Nice big inhales, complete exhales. Big inhale in, and exhale as we open up into our warrior two, now holding here. Back foot in line with the short edge of the mat, front toes towards that front edge of the mat. Growing nice and tall here, lifting that crown of the head towards the ceiling. Breathing here, gaze just past those left fingertips. Big inhales, complete exhales. Inhaling and bringing ourselves back towards that front here now, finding that straight line from the crown of the head to that back heel. Big inhale in. Exhale, lifting up that back leg, bringing our chest forward. Again, bringing our arms to the waist. If they get a little tired being out here by our ears, squaring those hips down to the mat. Right toes flex towards that mat there. Breathing here. Big inhales, complete exhales. Nice soft micro bend in that standing leg. And on that next inhale, bringing that back foot down, finding our warrior one. And exhale, straightening that front leg, hands return to our side, shaking it out. And we'll step that front foot up to join the back foot. This time shaking it out, but then coming to the back of the mat. So you're facing the most majority of the mat is in front of you. Big inhale and fingertips up towards the ceiling, biceps to ears. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale as we come up halfway. Exhale, full forward fold. Inhaling in, we'll come up all the way, this time taking our time nice and slow, sending those fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale, forward fold, staying nice and flat through the back, nice and straight through that neck there, rounding at the bottom. Inhale in, half forward fold. Exhale, full forward fold. And then bending our knees as generously as we need to plant our palms. We're actually going to make our way into our tabletop position here, coming into our hands and knees, finding that comfortable tabletop for us, tops of our feet pressing into the mat. Nice straight line from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone. As we inhale and lifting our tailbone and crown of our head towards the ceiling, exhale, rounding the back, starting at the tailbone, allowing the back to fall one vertebrae at a time, then allowing the crown of the head to melt towards the mat at the end there. Inhale, beginning with the tailbone again, and eventually lifting the crown of our head towards the ceiling. Moving through that a few times here, following your own breath, your own pace, inhaling into our cow pose where the tailbone and the crown of the head lift towards the ceiling. Exhaling into cat as we melt our tailbone and forehead towards the mat. And then the next time we find ourselves coming through that nice neutral center position with our spinal column, we'll find that moment of pause here. And then crossing our ankles, pressing ourselves back, coming into a seated position. We're actually just centering our sit bones on the mat. Planting the palms of the feet on the mat, nice 90 degrees here in our knees. Bringing the palms of our hands to the mat behind us. We'll take a big inhale in. And as we exhale, slowly working our way down onto our forearms, our elbows, and then making our way down to our back here. Hands rested at our sides to begin. Beginning to cool ourselves off now. Again, staying nice and long through the back of the neck. Making sure we're not tucking our chin or lifting our chin too much. Just keeping that nice neutral position there. Finding our comfortable foot position here for our bridge pose. For some, that might be a little wider than hip distance. Some might be hip distance, some might be a little bit closer. Whatever feels best for you and your back. I invite you to find that foot position. And as we inhale and lifting our hips up towards the ceiling, as we send our arms up overhead. Exhale, melting the hips to the mat as our hips return to the mat. Hips return to the mat, hands return to our sides. Inhaling in as we send the hips up towards the ceiling, arms up overhead. Exhale, melting our hips back down to the mat, hands returning to our sides. One more time, big inhale and sending those hips up towards the ceiling, arms up overhead. And exhale, releasing hips to the mat, hands returning to our sides. And this time we'll keep our hips planted. And on that inhale, sending just our arms up overhead, biceps to ears. And exhale as we draw our knees in towards our chest, bringing the palms of our hands to our knees. As we inhale and pressing our knees just slightly away from our body, straightening our elbows. Exhale, drawing our knees back in towards our chest. Moving through this here a few times. Following your own breath, your own pace. Taking our time. Next time we find ourselves coming into an inhale as the knees are moving away from our body slightly, we'll send our arms up overhead as well. Exhaling back to center. Inhale as we open up. Exhaling back to center. And then deciding if this is where we feel the most comfortable today with this position, keeping that lower back pressing into the mat no matter what we're doing. Or if we'd like to, we can inhale and sending those feet up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bringing everything back in. Inhaling, feet up towards the ceiling, arms overhead, pressing that lower back into the mat. Exhaling back to center, taking our time again, moving through this a few times, following your own breath, your own pace. Wherever we're at, we'll take one more big inhale as we open up, and exhale, returning everything back to center, bringing our palms of our hands back to our knees, and moving through that Apanasana a few more times here. Inhale as we press the knees away from our body slightly. Exhale, drawing the knees back in. Repeating this a few times, following your own breath, your own pace. And the next time we find ourselves coming to an inhale, as we're pressing those knees away, we'll keep pressing all the way away until the palms of our feet are resting comfortably on the mat. And then sending our legs out long down the mat, either bringing our hands to our sides or perhaps resting them on our belly, adjusting our clothes, doing whatever we need to do to find a little bit of comfort here or a lot of bit of comfort here on our mat. Preparing for our resting pose for our Shavasana. Once we found our comfort, doing a quick full body scan, seeing if there's anywhere that maybe we're holding on to a little bit of extra tension, and doing our best to allow that tension to melt away, even if it's just for the few minutes that we're resting here today. Feeling our shoulder blades relax and melt into the mat as our shoulders move away from our ears. Unfurling our brow, relaxing our jaw, closing our eyes if we're comfortable to do so, softening our gaze if we prefer. Allowing our tongue to move away from the roof of our mouth, and allowing our breath to return to its nice, neutral, natural resting state as we lay here breathing for the next few minutes. The video will end, but I do encourage you to continue resting here and breathing for the next several minutes. Namaste.